Hello and welcome to our Meet the Expert series of videos featuring the specialists from our website www.lymphoedemaunited.com. We're in January at the moment, 2023, so Happy New Year if you're watching. And I'm pleased to say that we have just launched a brand new feature on the Meet the Expert section called Health, Lifestyle and Wellbeing. And we're extremely grateful to all of our experts for helping us to live better with lymphedema. And in this episode, I introduce you to Karen, or Kaz as she prefers to be called,
Yeah.
Windsor, from East Grinstead in the good old UK. And Kaz owns Sculpt and Change Therapies, a holistic business that focuses on lymphatic disorders. She combines various treatments to create a formula of care for each client, including a combination of reflexology, massage fascia therapy, and mindset management, which I'm keen to hear more. So welcome, Kaz. It's going to be a pleasure to talk to you, I know.
Hello.
And we met virtually, first of all, in 2021, and I
We did.
instantly loved your positivity, your energy, and your friendly enthusiasm to help me and others to live better with lymphedema. Um, the smile is infectious. Your personality is radiant. This is going to be one of those videos I know is going to get a lot of views. So thank you for joining us today.
No problem at all.
Now, going on from the Zooms, I became a client of yours in
Yes, you did.
2022. So lots to talk about there. And I'm
Yeah.
pleased that we're working together on several projects to enable us to share your services with other people, hopefully our members who will benefit. Um, so lots to get through. Tell me, what inspired you to set up Sculpt and Change Therapies?
I me. I wasn't getting any help. I wasn't getting any I wasn't getting what I deserved to have. I was being told very basic information that unfortunately is the way of the land with lymphatic disorders. But I was convinced there was more that could be done. I wasn't going to sit and allow myself to not have a life. And I think that's where I had to get very angry. I have to say that. I had to get very angry to be able to find the energy through extreme pain and anguish of what was happening in my life to be able to turn that pain into power and build the business itself. Not in my wildest dreams did I think that this would take off the way it has. But yeah, I believe it's destined. I believe what I've gone through and what I've had to go through was all for a reason to be able to help humanity within the lymphatic community and beyond, because this is taking it, there's a lot more that is coming into this now, especially with women's health, um, to be able to help people.
Mm. And one of the areas that is quite key, and there are a couple of people on our website that, like yourself, have used the negative to turn into a positive and help others. Um, Tell us a little bit about your health journey, and what conditions you have.
Okay, so I will do a short and sweet um, I will do a short and sweet conversation here, because everything's on Matt's website. If you want to go and see my story and read about my story, then I'm one of his members. But I was diagnosed with lymphedema in 2005 from having had a ulcerated area on my leg that had infected in 1999. And I'd had skin graft surgery in 1999. It didn't work, it failed. And so I had to have 6 months of treatment to try and heal the area on my leg. And then in 2005, the skin on the area fell apart, and I was taken in for what they called um, routine surgery to take out the area, the infected area, and they hit my lymph, and I ended up with secondary lymphedema.
Right.
But what came from that diagnosis of secondary lymphedema in 2005 was an undiagnosed condition called lipedema, which wasn't diagnosed until 2015. But I was convinced that that was going on in my body around 2010, because the lymphedema had got somewhat under control when I had had 3 years of 8-layer bandaging through St George's, because I have been with St George's now since 2005. And if it wasn't for them in the beginning, I don't know where I would be, because I had to be taught how to do 8-layer bandaging. They had me in for 3 weeks at one point. Every single day I was going in to be taught. And the thing that convinced me about lipedema was that they were bandaging both of my legs, whereas lymphedema is primarily on one extremity. It suddenly was both my legs needed doing. I was obviously a lot heavier then as well. I was borderline 26 stone. And so a lot of that was down to fluid and illness within the lymphedema. There was a lot going on at the time. So rolling forward, 2015, I was diagnosed with lipedema because the lymphedema was pretty much under control. And then 2016, it was fibro, chronic fatigue, Derkham's, osteoarthritis, hypermobility, and Ehlers-Danlos, or hypermobility, EDS, or HEDS, which all came under, I had to see rheumatology, and then I was sent to musculoskeletal. And even now, in 2023, I'm still having to see a musculoskeletal physio, and I'm still having to have regular treatment every 4 weeks, because although it looks like I'm super strong and I've lost weight and I can do all these amazing things, my joints cannot. So I'm constantly having to still fight the battle. The lipedema hasn't gone anywhere, obviously, because you can't lose lipedema fat off the body, but I have lost probably the general amount of natural fat off of my body now. But in some cases, and especially in my case, especially around hormonal changes, the pain increases, because there's the natural fat that you have in your body cushions the abnormal fat. The same way that you have pain within lymphedema, natural fat will cushion, and it prevents a lot of pain if there's pain in the extremity. So there's my story, and that's where we're at right now.
And of course, that's just a brief summary. You can,
very brief.
As you rightly said, you can read more about your story on the Meet the Members section of our website.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. And you've used that journey to, I suppose, as you say, empower yourself with knowledge and training to then pass on techniques, therapies to help other people going through a similar journey. And it's that I want to touch on a bit more, because we have members, as you know, nationally, internationally, in the UK. A lot of them may have seen you on social media, but could you tell us about the services that you can provide in person in East Grinstead, and also virtually via, when it's working, Zoom and Teams, for example?
I'm a lymphatic reflexologist and fascia therapist. And so I provide all different types of reflexology and combination reflexology, and fascia therapy combined with reflexology, which I'm not sure that there's anybody out there that does that. But it was because of my own body that I was figuring out through Ashley Black, who is a fascia guru. and an absolute goddess to everything that I've been taught and learnt about fascia. I read her book, and it told me about fascia and fibrotic tissue. And there was a part in the book that actually mentioned lipedema, and I was on it straight away. And I bought the tools, the fascia blasting tools, and I started working on myself, and I could see changes coming. And I wanted to take that to the next level, and I wanted to be able to bring that into sculpt and change therapies and see whether or not putting that together with a combination of reflexology would work as a treatment. I didn't know if it would, but it has, and it's successful. So yeah,
Mm,
I'm
mm.
very I'm very impressed with it.
And just to recap, obviously I have lymphedema in my left leg, and one of the first conversations we had when you provided treatment for me was the importance of the fascia. Now, I'd never heard of a fascia, to be honest. So let's say there's a few other people as ignorant as I am who haven't heard what a fascia is and what the importance of it is. Can you go into a little bit more about that
Fascia is your
and the
connective
training and the
tissue.
techniques that you provide?
So, fascia is a connective tissue that is pretty much 99% to 100% of your whole body. And it holds all of your organs and your systems and everything in place. And what I've learned is when your fascia becomes traumatized, it creates more problems within the body. And so there's a thing, what I call about keeping your fascia clean. And there are certain ways and means that you can do that. When it comes to lymphedema, I would say that the trauma is within the fibrotic tissue that is in the extremity, which is what we've seen happen within your treatment, is that the fibrotic tissue is breaking down with the fascia, and the volume of your with the reflexology, the volume of your extremity has gone down and is continuing to go down. And so that's where my thinking is.
I mean, it's quite incredible that certain things that are going on in the body that we don't know about, and that's where
It
your treatment is not only physical, but you explain very well about what you're
all the
doing.
time, all
It's
the time,
quite
because
illuminating.
it needs that explanation so that people can understand what it is I'm trying to achieve and what it is what the goal is. And every single client that comes through my clinic, you all have a different story. You all have your own story that you bring to me with your own journey, and I am just a part of that journey. And one of the big things that I am hot on is self-care. So where I do a physical treatment in the clinic, I also want to be able to teach you to be able to look after yourselves at home. And it doesn't have to be a major practice. It doesn't have to be too extreme. It just becomes a way of life.
Mm, mm.
5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. It doesn't have to be extreme, and that's one thing that I want to put across, because I see sometimes I think you can do too much and not get anything, whereas you can do little and often and you gain a lot.
Yeah. You can certainly add me to that list because I fell into the trap of
Yeah.
hitting exercise hard, and my leg rebounded. It actually got bigger, and so I've listened to the guidance that I'm doing little and often. 20 minutes on the cross trainer, I know, 4 days this week, but you haven't quite answered every aspect of that question. With all of the people around the world watching, what can you provide virtually to help
Oh,
people
okay.
from home? So
So
services.
I got into mindful mindset work in COVID at home. So I was doing a lot of courses at home because, let's face it, we couldn't do anything else. And I started to incorporate that and I was seeing it as well. I was incorporating it in my clients' sessions. And then I was realizing, oh my God, they're actually taking this on board. And this is how I've sort of changed my mindset. Um, and so online, I can help you write your self-care practice to look after yourself, but I can also help you with your mindset, where you are in your life, what you want to change, how you want to change that, and how you want your reality to rewrite a new story, if you like. Which I know a lot of people find it difficult to hear, that you can write your own story and you can change your own reality. Because we're conditioned to listen to certain things that tell us that this isn't actually true, but it is actually true. What we're living around us right now is an old story, and we can then bring forward the new story, but that doesn't happen overnight, and you have to action it. So whatever you're looking for, you can action. What it comes down to is accountability. And what happens online is you become accountable to me, and I make sure that you follow that protocol and get the result that you want.
Mm, mm. And it is, shift in mindset. It's well advertised
Yeah,
online, various courses, and you speak from experience with that because you went through a torrid time. You
yeah,
like we all go through at some point with our health. You go through that sort of dip, and you changed your mindset and changed your life dramatically. And you've told
yeah.
in confidence about certain sacrifices that you've made, certain
I've made major
decisions.
sacrifices. I have made major sacrifices to be able to be where I am at today. But when I look back, I would do it again.
Mm, mm,
Every single time I would do it again, because the amount of women and men that I have helped over the last 2 years, 3 years since I started the business, but last year in particular, having people fly in from other countries to have my treatments, to come and stay in, like you said, Little East Grinstead for week on end, just so that you could come and be treated by me or listen to what I've got to say. It blows my mind that that's happened,
mm,
but I wouldn't change it.
mm,
Even though every single circumstance that I've been through has been a painful experience, I wouldn't change it.
mm. And it does make us stronger. It makes us the person that
It's
we
made
are
it, like
today.
last year, with all the pain and anguish that I went through last year, which you know about, the growth that came to me as a person, and the evolving through my business, you can't buy
Mm,
what
mm,
happened last year.
mm.
Like you have to, you like I said at the beginning of this interview, pain equals power. It's just you have to know how to use that for your advantage.
Yeah, yeah. And this is where your service comes in because you can help others to achieve that.
A
Um,
100%. And yes, okay, let's be honest, because I'm going to be honest. I do show you what you need to change. I do show you what the areas of your life that you want to avoid, because because those are the things that are going to bring you to your own healing state in your body.
yeah, she can be quite strict and firm at times as well. Just to warn you if you're thinking of making contact with Karen or Kaz. Now, listen, one of the things that I know we need to touch on for self-care, self-management, which you talked about earlier, and these simple things that you said that we can all do at home. Let me
Yeah.
touch on dry brushing and ask you, what is it? What are the benefits? And how do we do it?
Okay, so dry brushing is my number one. I absolutely love it, and I started doing it in 2017, and I've never stopped. So dry brushing helps to stimulate and move the lymph around the body. And you don't have to do it heavily. You do it very, very lightly. But after a period of time, you really do start to see major changes within your extremities or your whole body. I've been doing whole body brushing from 2017. And I remember when I first started talking about it and people were shutting me down. And now it's like no, you have to do dry brushing. You must do dry brushing. And I'm like, yes, I've been saying this for years. It's something that works. The thing about dry brushing is that I love is that you can get up in the morning and do it and it's done. It's not something that you have to think about doing. You just get up and you do it.
And
And
how long?
that's what I try to explain to people, that you can do it for 3 to 5 minutes in the morning, or
Right.
3 to 5 minutes in the evening, before you have a shower or a bath, and it's an incredible self-care move.
Okay. And they're not expensive to buy, are they? The dry.
No, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them in pharmacies, you can get them anywhere. I like the ones with the nodules because the nodules are lymph moving a lot more. But they're the cheapest thing that you can buy.
Mm. And there's a specific direction, a specific technique with dry brushing. And I know you've done a video recently online, haven't you, to
I
show
have done
people how to do it?
a dry brushing video, so that's my technique that I use in my dry brushing video. But there are thousands of techniques for dry brushing and different types of dry brushing. So where people might be watching mine, somebody might say, oh no, that's wrong, I don't like what she's doing, I want to do something else. That's fine, go and do that, because what works for one doesn't always work for the other. You have to remember that with everything that you have
Mm.
in your toolbox of self-care, not everything is going to work for everybody, because everybody is that their genetics are completely different. It's when it comes to nutrition, when people ask me about nutrition, and I'm like, yeah, but what works for me might not work for you, because the genetic is different in our bodies.
Yeah. So these are the things that, yes, you've done these free videos essentially online that people
Yeah,
can learn from. But if I wanted to come to you as a client and say, look, I'm in, I don't know, Manchester in the UK or France. Could you teach me dry brushing
yes, of
online
course.
over a remote call like this? And I would
Yes, of course.
pay you
Yeah.
for that
So
tutorial.
it's a service that I am adding to my therapies, of and into my online therapy. So like writing your self-care plan, I will show you what to do in a call, so that you can do that for yourself.
Okay, wonderful. And the other thing which is relatively new, and I ended up buying one as well, is this massage gun. And this goes
Yes,
back to the fascia, doesn't it?
yes, but massage guns are obviously for muscles. It was purely I'd had a lot of messages asking me about massage guns. And obviously, I'm a very, 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 very big fan of the fascia blaster. And I can't use a vibration plate because of my joints, because of hypermobility EDS. Vibration plates just don't work with me. They do work with some people, but they don't work with me. So I um, researched for hours about these massage guns, and I came up with two different guns. And it was either you're going to buy that one or you're going to buy that one. Well, I bought this one, and I've never looked back. There is a piece in there that, used on the lowest level of the gun, I believe is affecting fibrotic tissue. I believe that the vibration is separating the lipedema and the natural fat. And then with, I mean, I'm literally going on this by my own intuition and my own thought process. I don't know the science, and I'm not the consultant to ask this question. Like, I'm not the person to ask the science about this. But because of what I've seen going on in my own body, and because of my physio, Adam being so incredibly smart, and me taking the gun to him, he agrees. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm right. Um, I think the lipedema and the natural fat are separated. And then with exercise and nutrition and self-care and all the things that I do for myself, I'm metabolizing the natural fat. Like the lipedema is not going to go anywhere, but the natural fat is, or vice versa. But I think fascia is involved in that somewhere, and definitely fibrotic tissue is breaking down. So where there might be obstructions in your natural fat because of fibrotic tissue, they're being broken away.
I mean, it's, as you say, another tool in the toolbox. As
It
long
is
as
another tool
you
in the
use
toolbox,
properly.
used exactly that, used properly, used on the lowest level. I'm not looking to affect my muscle. I'm literally looking to affect the tissue. And that is something that I've come across that blew my mind. Well, you know it did, because you've been in the clinic where I've been like, I don't know how this is working, but it is working.
Yeah.
And then you've said to me yourself, you do know how it's working, because you do know how the science is for this. But then it's a case of going away and researching and looking, and that's what I think is actually happening. So I'd like to talk to a couple of professionals to corroborate what I'm saying. But yeah, I've bought quite a few of them. I'm never letting it out of my sight, because it's something that has definitely changed my life.
Fantastic. So we we've talked about dry brushing, we talked briefly about the gun, the mindset, and the reflexology, and the opportunities to have these as face-to-face treatments
Yeah,
or online virtually. And
yeah,
as you know, no surprise really, we're all going through a bit of a cost of living crisis, both in the UK and abroad, and therefore paying for private therapies perhaps for some people isn't top of the list.
no.
So what do you have available perhaps on your website or on your videos as essentially free resources or tasters for people to get a feel for what you do before picking up the phone call perhaps and having a chat with you about the opportunity of working together? What can you do as a sort of a tempter pack?
So on social media, I've got tutorials which people can watch and follow. Um, I literally spoke to you before this call, and I've had a stupid amount of messages asking me to do a what do I eat in a day reel for social media. Clearly, because people need that for help or for guidance. So again, that I give a lot of stuff away for free. A lot of information, a lot of knowledge goes away for free. If you have been a part of my challenges since I started the challenges back in November, if you watch those challenges, on that challenge is free knowledge galore. Like, it is full of information. And I've done that on purpose, because you're watching the movement, you're doing the movement, and you're being educated at the same time.
And just to pick up on those, for those of you who don't know, these are a series of daily videos that Kaz does on Instagram, and they're usually a 1 minute exercise that you have to do every day for a 30-day period. But as she says, education resources are put on the video clips as well. So whilst you're watching it, you're learning. So we'll come onto your channel a bit later on. But for those people who wish to book an appointment to have a conversation with you, you're open to emails and quick conversations over the phone. Just
Yeah. I'm open to
explain more.
emails or direct messages, or um, uh, yeah, emails. Or I was just thinking, no, emails or direct messages is totally fine.
Okay. Well, all of your details are on our website, of course, and thank you very much indeed for participating. And we're thrilled that you've agreed to join our new Meet the Experts health, lifestyle, and wellbeing section of the website. Now, you've kindly agreed to offer our members a special offer. Do you want to expand on what you've been able to do for us?
So I am giving the members 10% off up until the 31st of March, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, yes, spot on.
Yeah. On online or in clinic.
That's
So both opportunities have got 10% off a 5 course booking.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. And that's
I'm
a
so pleased I got that right because I
you
could
did.
not
No,
remember.
you absolutely did. And that's specifically for members of Lymphoedema United. So if you're
Yeah.
not a member, it's free of charge to join. Jump on the website, lymphoedemaunited.com, and there's a tab called free membership. Does what it says on the tin. All we need is your name and email address. As a result of that, you'll get an email with a special discount code. That's the code to mention to Kaz when you make contact with her. In addition to newsletters, articles, free prize draws, you name it, you get an abundance of information, but not too much. So please sign up and get in contact with Kaz, but also to find out more information, have a look at Kaz's story on Meet the Members page, and also on Meet the Experts. Scroll down to the new health, lifestyle and wellbeing section, see Karen, read a bio, click on the link, and that'll take you directly through to her website where you can pick up the conversation from there. So thank you so much once again for such an interesting insight into your lymphatic therapies. For those of you who are social media buffs, where can we find you, Kaz?
So you can find me on @KazTalks on Instagram. You can find me on @KazTalks on TikTok. My Facebook page is now public as I am now a digital creator. Who knew? And
Not me.
and Twitter. So I don't really use Twitter. Oh, and YouTube. YouTube is definitely something that I am working on making more substantial this year. Last year I dabbled with it a bit, but this year I'm definitely taking it to the next level. So
Okay.
yeah.
And after YouTube, there's bound to be television and radio, and the
Oh,
world.
I'm going for
Sky's the
global
limit.
domination. Global domination, Matt. You know the end game.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we finish off?
No, I'm just so pleased that I've been given the opportunity to talk about what I'm passionate about and what I want to be able to do to help other people move forward in their lives. One of the things that I thrive on and I love is being able to help a person enhance their life within living with lymphatic disorders. Like that to me is the best medicine that I can ever get,
Mm.
because seeing someone else smile because of what I can do for them, yeah, it's a game changer.
Well, listen, to finish with, and I don't mean to embarrass you in any way, shape, or form much. But as I said earlier in the interview, I have been a client for most of 2022 with Kaz's treatments, both the physical therapies and also a bit of chit chat about mindset as well. And we saw some noticeable difference in the
Yeah.
shape and the consistency of my tissues in my left leg, the affected limb. And, it's pleasing. That I'm a bit of a figures man, stats man. So it's pleasing to see the measurements reduce, which gave me huge confidence to sign up for additional therapies with Karen. So do give it a try, whether that's virtual, whether that's in person. In addition, you'll see the biggest smile in Sussex, and an absolute pleasure to work with Karen. And thank you again for joining the Lymphoedema United community. And it'll be
No problem. I'm
lots of,
looking forward to working with you.
yeah, lots of things planned for 2023. So stay
Yeah.
tuned, guys. Thank you very much indeed, Karen. And
Okay.
thank you again for watching. Check out our other videos on the YouTube channel. All right. Have a
Yeah.
good
Okay.
2023, all. Thank you.
Bye.